Lone shared this in Discord. I actually read through it, and it's very good. I think it's a good conversation. It's musicians. It says musicians, 11 hard truths.
Okay.
Now, we know a lot of musicians. We know a lot of creatives. We can actually relate because we all in some form pretty much this would apply to us, some fashion or whatever, right? So with this list, I'm not, Lone, do you remember where you got this mug from? Or I don't know if I need to quote anyone. I don't want to.
At the bottom of the.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. My bad.
I can't zoom in.
𝐷amienKeys1 at 𝐷amienKeys1 is who's at the bottom.
There you go.
So whoever that is, we appreciate you, brother. But no, this is a very dope list. So I'm gonna go through these and then see what you guys think. Would you like me to go through all 11 and then we can kind of tackle it as a whole, or stop?
Let's just start and then go from there. And if you have anything, we can stop it. Do you want me to read it, or do you want? Are you?
Oh, I'd love to read it. Are you okay reading it? I can see this.
I just want to make sure.
It's nice and big. I can see this.
Sometimes you have reading problems.
Yeah, it's nice and big. I can read this. I can see this. And it got a black background. Yeah, I can see this.
Okay. Well, everybody monitor Mike's reading.
Yes, let's go. Y'all ready?
Okay.
All right. Excuse me.
All right. Let's get the
so
first
number one
Starting
says,
kind of rough.
Yeah.
number one says, streaming is the best thing that ever happened to the music industry. You have more control than ever before. I agree with that. Number two, let's see.
Number one is wrong.
Yeah,
Is
let's
number
talk.
one?
Yeah, let's talk
We've had
about
that
that.
conversation.
Go ahead. Why? I'm really playing
Streaming
devil's
the best
advocate.
thing that ever happened to the music industry.
Yeah.
I'm really playing
You
devil's
have more
advocate.
control than ever before.
This is wrong. I'm just playing devil's advocate.
This is very wrong.
This is something
yeah,
that
You're talking to somebody who's taking their music off of Spotify.
Facts.
Yeah, like
purposely, openly talked about it. Yes.
it's streaming is great for the consumer, but if you're just an independent music artist, number one, you don't get paid a lot of money depending on who streams your music. You have to get a ton of people to stream to make anything significant. You do not have any type of direct connection or correlation to any type of fan base, so you don't really know who is listening to you. You cannot. It's not like handing a CD to somebody, even giving a CD to somebody. You don't know where these people come from. There's no type of retention. You just thrown it out into the world. It's like the TikTok for you, the algorithm.
Algorithm. Yep.
It's the top of the pyramid, as I call it, and it's like it's. Maybe if you frame this in the mindset of like the music industry, like the industry aspect, is it good for the big capital owners of the music industry?
They benefit.
Is it good for them?
Yes.
Potentially, but is it good for the economy of the musician and the independent artist and the artist in general? To me, it's unequivocally no, and it's not even like worth debating and arguing.
I think you sold that one up. Like, y'all cool with going to number two?
I just think one of the things that is lost in all is, yes, it's great. You can say, hey, I have a joint out. Where is it? It's in your phone. Okay, that's cool. But like the fact that I think a lot of times people are willing to forego ownership for access, and, like you said, we're big on knowing what our numbers are, what works, what doesn't. You have no access to any of that. When it comes, it's just something that, and if you ask for that from Spotify or whatever DSP, they're probably going to tell you no. So, I mean,
well, they don't even know.
Yeah. So it's like and because there's so much manipulation going on, they wouldn't tell you if they did.
Yeah.
So, I mean, no, I think streaming, it's a necessary evil, but to say it's the best thing.
Hell no.
Hell.
It's great for the consumer.
Yeah,
Hell to the no.
It's terrible for the artist.
Yeah, not for the artist. Not for the musician.
I like this number. I like number two.
Okay.
Short form content isn't going anywhere. It's the number one discovery for music.
And a lot of times for podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. We pretty much good with that, right?
Yeah, we've kind of discussed these topics in certain ways.
In certain ways.
And what I think they mean by that short form is how we discussed how, people create these songs just for it to go to TikTok and,
yes.
You know what I'm saying, bless the algorithm, so to speak, in order to move their units. Because a lot of times, that's the only thing you know from this artist is their TikTok video or dance that so happened to come about from that short form. So,
and that short form,
true.
To Terry's point, as we've discussed, it's come up, times in the past, but that short form content can turn you into a star very fast in today's climate.
Kinda.
It's a 15-minute type of situation.
Exactly.
Because if you're not capitalizing on that the correct way, in which most of these artists don't. Because there's been, if you think about it, if you go back and look at every artist that made it or was popular on TikTok, unless they were already established, that's the only thing you know them from. And not even just TikTok, but any short media form. There have been occurrences where it brings a song that an established artist may have made years ago back to the forefront, which helps them. But in turn, 9 times out of 10, most of these artists just are popular for that window of time, and that's it.
Yeah.
And also,
they might be part of a challenge.
Yeah, and I think that's the other piece with the short form. I actually do agree with this, and the short form content aspect of this is it's bigger than just putting your music in a short form piece. It's also how you. Short form is how everybody consumes.
Right.
So if you can figure out how to create a personality with your, take yourself and turn yourself into a influencer, if you will, or
that's the word,
or however you want to do that, but also incorporate the things that you do with your music as well. Those are things that you can capitalize off of short form. So short form, in my opinion, it isn't going anywhere. It is the #1 discovery right now. But again, even referring back to the first thing, it seems like everything is great, with these algorithms, but again, I call it the top of the pyramid, right?
Oh yeah,
it's like people can see
Donald
you.
Trump hands.
You can
see them.
You can go to the top. Go to the top. You like the top. Sometimes you like the bottom. I don't know.
Top's great. A lot of great people at the top.
A lot of great people at the
Pause.
Exactly.
That was a big pause.
Exactly. But at the same time, like it's also short form is also very fickle. So don't think that just because you do short form it means you're going to be successful.
Right.
You have to know how to convert short form content into whatever it is that you want.
Yeah. Remember when
it
was I don't even remember the woman's name. It was the Bust It challenge. There was a lot of challenges during the pandemic.
Oh,
That
my
sample
God.
Nelly.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't even know who that is.
I don't.
No, I have no idea. That's why I'm saying, I was hoping maybe to jog somebody else's memory. Maybe somebody in the chat.
I know. I can hear the song in my head, but I don't know who it was.
And I remember it played a little bit in the club at one point, but I haven't heard that song in years at this point.
Yeah.
No, we in agreement on that one for sure. Let's see. #3 says the music industry is easier than it's ever been. Social media has opened up a global world.
The second part is true.
Yeah, it's easier
This is kind
from a point that the artist can literally take it into their own hands without a record label. But
to an extent.
But you have to wear multiple hats. You can't just focus on the music, so to speak. Whereas in the past, you could focus on the music and getting a record deal, and they handled everything else. Now you have to do your social media. You got to be your own stylist. You got to be your own AR. You got to be your own the person that choreographer, all of that. You got to do it all. You have to create a package for them to even look at you to want to give you money. So
I think the back end, to Terry's point, is harder because there's a lot that comes with that when you self-manage or you're self-contained. That's a lot. Right.
And at the end of the day, that's what they're looking for now.
Right.
Easier is the wrong word, though. It's not. It's not easier. It's by no means easier. It's more accessible.
Exactly.
And
I like accessible because you get access, direct to consumer access that would have been impossible back when we were coming.
It was impossible. I mean, we lived through it.
It's not would have been. It was right.
We lived through
it.
Until MySpace came out, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just like sending records to labels and.
But I like your point about accessible versus.
Yeah, it's not
easy.
easy. It's not easy at all. No, if it was easy, everybody would do it. You know what I mean? Like, no, it's not easy.
Yeah,
no,
how many people blow up off of singles? Shouts to Quincy. Because he posted something and
I saw that,
and he was just like, every artist should post singles, and nobody or no, what he said, essentially what he said.
Nobody should make an album.
Nobody should make an album, and my thing was like, albums are cool. You just have to promote differently. Now, granted, if you only promote the album and you don't promote the songs on there, yes, I would agree with that. But there's a different audience for every single potential song that you put out for different. If you make a sad song, there's a whole bunch of people that want to hear a sad song that you can target that algorithm. If you want to make this type of song, you can actually, if you do an album, and it's actually a well-versed album, you can actually target like 10 different types of audiences at the same time.
And that's 10 different types of content that you can use.
Yeah, but at the same time, like when you think about all this, like all of the people that have blown up, like we can count all the people that have blown up musically off social media on one hand in the last year. It's not like this is like a regular occurrence. It's the $1 Million Baby guy.
Oh my God.
You know, Sexy Red a couple years ago, Ice Spice a couple years ago. You know, who else? Like, you know what I mean? Like
that went on to do significant things. That list is not
you know
that
what I mean?
big.
And a lot of times those people, they fizzle away really fast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Some of those are the successful people.
They are successful. That's true.
Yeah.
They are successful.
You know, like for every, one person that is successful at chasing hits, like there's thousands, if not tens of thousands that fail doing the same thing. So yeah, anyways, accessible, not easier.
Yeah.
We agree with that. Okay, cool. Let's see. Number 4 says you are a business whether you like it or not.
That kind of just goes with what we just said.
Without realizing this, you cannot say what you say, Terry.
It goes with what we just said pretty much as far as him saying that
gotta wear many
this
hats.
is the best time. Yeah, you have to wear many hats in order to even be able to do it as far as being able to be accessible.
It says without realizing this, you can just be a puppet. So yeah, that kind of goes hand in hand. It says number 5 says you are probably not shadow banned.
Yeah.
I think
that's an interesting statement.
I think you have to be at a certain.
Again, I think this is bad terminology because a lot of people don't understand when they say, "Oh, I'm shadow banned." It just means that the algorithm's not working in your advantage. And I would agree that a lot of times the algorithm is just simply not working in your advantage.
And a lot of times the reason why the algorithm isn't working to your advantage is because now these platforms want you to pay.
They want you, in
order to get in front of people. So. A lot of people use the term shadow ban to make themselves seem more popular or
an excuse.
As an excuse as far as why you don't see them. Yeah. But honestly, it's because you're not as, famous, not necessarily famous, but as popular as you think you are. And you're not paying to be seen because we've seen how that adjusted when there came a time where we were putting out stuff and everybody's seeing it. And then once they start pretty much, it's almost pay to play on social media.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah.
It's not even, that, and it was kind of a wrap for everybody to see what was
especially on Instagram,
and Facebook.
Which is all under the Meta situation because, I just know this like from my personal account.
Yeah.
If I post, this is going to be a Take That Tuesday tonight, you get like 24 views. But then if I post it on Take That, now strange because I post it on Take That Tuesdays, it'll get a lot more traction even though there are less people engaged there. But I just know if I post, if it's not just a picture of me and a dog or something or a beautiful flower, like it's not going to get any engagement.
They can recognize that.
They know when those are letters and numbers that are telling you where to be somewhere. Because if you're going to do that, okay, that's cool. You got to drop a little money.
Yeah.
And you can try to get around it any way you'd like. But because you'll notice it'll be the same people who wind up seeing it. Like, it's like they'll let this small group of people see your content every single time. But other than that, it's a wrap.
You better put a little bread behind it.
So I think this is playing on semantics a little bit because I think a lot of people, when they say they're shadow banned, really kind of mean what we just said, as opposed to, they're shadow banning me. It's like, no, you don't understand the algorithms. And the algorithms are not working in your favor.
And this is pay to play. Like, if you wind up, and they had to do something. I mean, I'm not saying they had to, but if you're like Kim Kardashian or somebody who's like super famous and you got an Instagram, you got 20 million followers and you tell your 20 million followers, wow, this is a great cheeseburger I had over here.
They can't give somebody that much power, man.
Yeah, because you can't have somebody saying, like, just literally been able to tell 20 million people, hey, this is a great hamburger. Somebody, because then it'll throw off the people who are actually trying to advertise their hamburgers.
Facts.
It's like
that paid to play,
and then they'll think, okay, if I could just pay Kim Kardashian directly. I don't have to go to CBS, NBC, or Fox.
See, that's what they do.
So
that's why people put the title influencer in their bios, because essentially they're influencing their followers to do what they do. Like the paid advertisers that bring this product to them and breaks them off this much money just to say that they like it because they understand how their algorithm works and is going to be beneficial to them to pay Kim Kardashian to talk about this said item.
Who wouldn't want to get in front of 20 million people that fast?
And I might be selling her short. She could have way more followers than that. I'm not one of them, so I'm not sure. 20 million was an arbitrary number.
No, I'm with you on that. We good on that one for sure. Let's see. What was that? We're up to number 6. It says, you are obsessed with numbers, but the wrong ones. We should be obsessed with how to look after real fans, not follower metrics.
That's a fact.
Yeah,
that's a fact.
We've talked about that here.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. That's real right there.
That's very real, and that's a whole conversation in itself.
Yeah, that one right there is spot on.
It's the bottom of the pyramid, man.
There it is. Number 7, advertising works, but not the way you're doing it.
Again, we've kind of talked about this as well. It's I mean,
a lot goes into that, man.
Yeah, it does. And just because you throw money at something doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work too.
Facts.
So
there's definitely a science and research that goes into that part for sure. It's deeper than just paying for an ad. We'll just say that. Let's see what's next. Number 8, making money from your fan base isn't horrible. It's a necessity.
Yeah.
Get your merch game together.
Get it together.
Again, bottom of the pyramid, man. Those are your real fans. Those are the people that really support you, and those are the people that you have to find, not the people that follow you in passing. See your content, not the if you go viral and have 500,000 or 700,000 views and you have 100,000 likes, but out of those 100,000 they don't know who you are the next day or they don't follow you. What does that actually? Your
viral moment, you can't.
It's just a viral moment.
You weren't able to monetize it.
I literally just saw this on full display with Currency. That man has a legit following. Pulled up, annex was full. He can go anywhere and do that.
And you know what? And they'll hop online and get a Jet Life sweatshirt.
100%.
Maybe some. They'll buy a full outfit.
100%. My boy had on the Jets hat and T-shirt to come to this. So yeah, that's that. I think Lone mentioned this earlier. Albums are a bad strategy unless you have a fan base.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I think it's in the approach. I think you can still, because the problem that I have with this is because this says musicians. Hard truths. This doesn't say content makers, right? A musician's job is to make creative art. It is not to make a product.
Agreed.
And so when you approach it as that, whether it be an album or whether it be short, singles or whatever it may be, you don't have to stop creating the thing that you want to create. You just have to find creative ways to fit within whatever the landscape of whatever works is. If you want to make albums, you can make albums. There are artists, even locally, that have put out, shouts to Dead Silence. He pushed his Vanilla Bean record for a year? And, it got a lot of play, a lot of love. Then he dropped his album. He spread that mug out. He did it the right way, and that's how everybody should be approaching music in general. And most of us are guilty of, creative wise, because of what we just said of, we create something. We want to put it out into the world, but it's so overwhelming, all the different hats that we have to play. A lot of times we don't promote our projects and our works and our arts and the things that we love as much as we should. And we give up and go work on the other thing because we're creatives.
We're creatives, right? And that part of our mind can't be turned off. And we also have a sense of knowing what we just put into this product to get it here. So, when we go through albums and you make projects, you make full projects, full length projects. We all worked on stuff. It's like, okay, it's out. It's out there. Okay, everything. But you can't stop. It's out there. It's done. People are about to judge my work. There's a part of your mind that says, and you hear it from consumers, okay, so what's next?
Yeah.
That's the era that we're in now. You can literally pour your blood, sweat, and tears into a project, make wax, make T-shirts, make this, make that.
That's going to exhaust you. Even Tyler, the creator.
There it is.
Specified that when you drop something, not necessarily that you're married to it, but you put time and effort into this.
Yes.
You literally need to be talking about this every day.
Act like you care about it.
Act like you care
about it. Yep.
You can't be so focused on what you're going to do next.
Yes.
Because honestly, you're not even in a creative space at that point.
Yeah.
You're exhausted from this last thing that you just did.
And as a creative, sometimes we allow that to leak into our minds because people will say that, oh man, I love what you just did, man. This is 2 weeks after it came out. Yo, that was dope. What you doing next?
That's because we're in a different time, and people actually give the consumer too much power.
Yeah.
Facts. I agree.
Because the consumer thinks that they can manipulate or make you drop something. How many times have you seen an artist that ain't been outside and everybody's asking for them to do something, and then they finally do it and they hate it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now you have artists in a box to where they're like, I'm almost scared, like real artists.
Mhm.
I'm almost scared to give you something because you might not like this. Just like Andre 3000, he went out on a limb and was like, I'm gonna do a jazz album. I don't care what y'all think.
Yep.
I literally don't care.
I'm touring it right now. So the people that rock with it are gonna come out to the show. If you don't rock with it, you don't. But I really don't know when I'm gonna make another rap album.
I saw a post that blew my mind. It was from someone that was younger, and they were comparing King Von, recipes King Von, and Kendrick Lamar. And the younger person was saying it's ridiculous that King Von has dropped, and he named the projects and mixtapes and all the stuff that he's done, but Kendrick's numbers that he's put out with his projects aren't even close.
No, he's saying he dropped.
Is that what it was?
No, what he was saying was that King Von has dropped this many projects or this many albums or mixtapes versus Kendrick has only dropped this many albums. But the problem is,
that's what it was. Okay,
this goes back to the whole content and just making stuff to be making stuff. Kendrick's albums, he's doing this from an artist point of view. So he's literally making art.
True.
He has to be in a mood. He has to be in a zone to create these pieces. Whereas a lot of rappers coming into the game now are just creating it based on putting out a whole bunch of stuff because that's what people want to hear. And it all sounds the same essentially.
It's a line.
There's not a lot of effort involved in I'm gonna just go to the studio tonight and record 10 songs versus somebody that's working on a legit project that means something to them. I went through something to make this album. I didn't just get drunk or smoke a blunt or even just feel like recording something tonight and put it out.
And also,
it's a line I used to always say. I believe it was Future. It might have been Future that was bragging about recording a record in 2 weeks or something. And my response has always been, it sound like it.
Well, that's not even always the case either.
But more times than not, to me, I can tell when somebody done rushed some records.
You can, but I just don't like to use that example because we say that, but there are artists that are for real artists that may have been having a block or something. True. And then they just got in this creative space in this week of time and they decided to lock it in.
Almost all my projects that I put out in the last 10 years, I've made in a week.
I think the blueprint was
because
like
it's
that.
It's
a couple weeks?
You get up, you prepare for it, and then it's like, all right, I have time for it now.
There, yeah.
Boom, I'm there. I can knock it all the way out, and then this is what it is.
Yeah, so that doesn't go to all artists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I respect that. I respect that.
And also, sometimes this is the thing, artists, you got to have a belief in your own vision, even if anyone else doesn't. I mean, this is a crazy example because, of course, when I use Michael Jackson, but they wanted, once they saw, the people at his record company saw, wow, Thriller did something we didn't think it was going to do. It outsold Off the Wall. They don't want to put any more time, effort, or money into it. Michael Jackson had to cut a side deal as far as the merchandising and they didn't want to shoot a video for Thriller, the title track of the album. They shot 2 videos for Beat It and Billie Jean, and honestly, CBS Records was done. They were done with that. Yeah. And so
Mike put that bread up though, right?
Mike he
got an investor.
He secured to be able to sell the making of Thriller. Okay. And have a premiere on cable and that. These were all things that Mike had to do. At one point, he fired everybody involved with, after they'd already sold 9 or 10 million records, because he was like, they don't see what I'm trying to do here.
But again, and I'm not trying to take away, but back to what they're saying here is the albums are a bad strategy unless you have a fan base. Yeah. And he's talking about it now. Michael had a fan base.
He had a
Kendrick had a fan base.
True. You're right.
So
you're right.
But even still, with that being said, you can still utilize an album and you can push it in different ways. You can be creative with it with your short form stuff. You can get people engaged in the different way, the different songs. You can talk about it. It's all about how you create your thing and then be creative with the marketing. And too many of us are just not proactive enough in promoting the thing. And it's an easy scapegoat. It's an easy thing to say, just put out singles. But that doesn't fix the root of the problem.
I tell you what, 𝐀𝐿𝐻𝐻.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works.
Or even, this is going back a few years. I remember when Simon Said was putting out his music. Shout out to him. Like, he had USBs that looked like the little Simon Says game.
I actually made some
that's
shirts.
fire.
Yeah.
That's fire.
And I was like, man, this is just a dope idea. You know,
That's
just the fact.
fire.
And like I said, this has been years ago, but I remember that.
Right, right.
You just have to be clever. You have to be creative, man. And
No, I'm with that.
I'm pretty much anti anybody saying, "Oh, you can't do this creatively." Like, nah, you can do what you want to do. You just have to be clever with how you get it to the
About
people.
how you do it.
Yeah, do it. And back to your point about Dead Silence, Naptown DJ Fest. He was literally the only artist at Naptown DJ Fest passing out a USB with the DJ packs on it.
That's
and
what
he's literally got a song that everybody knows.
Yeah.
And he's still out there doing the work.
Yeah.
And
Whereas
that's
the other
difference.
artists that should be doing that, like, I already got it. I'm already playing it out. I've been playing it out forever.
Yeah.
But he made sure he gave me a USB that had more joints on it that he wants to push out. So artists have to be proactive as far as that's concerned to gain more fans in order to appreciate an album.
And there's something about an artist that knows you've already been rocking with the product, but I'm still giving you something else to breathe life back into it. I love that mindset. He ain't have to do that. He knows everybody. It's been out, but he's still working his record.
But
To the Tyler Creator conversation, he's still working his record.
But think about
I respect that.
how many artists there are in this city, people that we like. And, you know, and you're right. I don't remember seeing anybody else as far as artists out.
Nobody.
And here's a huge park full of nothing but DJs.
Yeah.
And there's only one artist out there trying to really walking around. And you at the crib talking about, man, people should be respecting my music. You know what I'm saying? I should be bigger than I am right now.
Man, listen, I'd have counted. I'm old now, but I'd have counted how many DJs was there. Had one for everybody. All right, let's keep going, y'all. Number 10. Thank you, Sean. Social media is a reflection of you. If it isn't working, you can improve everything.
Yes and no.
I mean, it's such a
Broad.
basic ass statement.
It is, but I mean,
It's basic, but it's.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. I mean,
you can't really improve everything because I mean,
Is it a reflection?
it's loaded. That's a loaded question.
That's a loaded statement. It's
Yeah.
like, yes, social media is a reflection of you.
Okay.
If it isn't working, you can improve everything. That kind of suggests that social media is like the thing that's going to fix everything too.
It's not.
And
Which is not. Yeah,
So
it's not.
that's the
Yeah,
problem
it's
that I
not.
have with the statement, but it doesn't mean that there's not truths within that.
I think there's some truth in there, but it's, to your point, it's not going to fix
to
everything.
a
Yeah, but
certain
there- but-
extent
but
because
there's,
not,
you know.
it's not. All right, so I'll say this: if you are giving your whole self on social media, and people aren't receptive to it, how do you change it? You just be fake? Because I know there's a lot of people that they use social media to talk and try to engage in conversation a whole lot.
But you got to remember too, though, to your point, there are a lot of people that are living a facade on social media. I'm talking about on purpose. There's a lot of people. You said, am I going to be me or am I going to be this personality influencer or whatever? A lot of them don't be adding up. There are two separate people.
But what's that got to do with? I mean, I agree, but to Terry's point, you know, it's like, I don't know.
What?
At this point, social media doesn't work for anybody. We
just-
work for social
yeah,
media,
it's
and
like-
like
Oh, that's a bar.
and it's
that's a
kind
bar.
of it's really not. I mean, because once again, we're talking about the
It's
algorithm.
putting the onus on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's like-
And at this, like, you know, like Terry said, like I don't have a lot of use for Instagram unless it's just something I really want to, you know, I used to post something pretty regularly, but now it's just like I post stuff in the
I
stories.
just post whatever I feel like at this
But
point.
Talk to him, Lone.
quite honestly, you'll see more, like, you know, I control, you know, a couple other accounts, but my personal account,
Yeah.
unless it's something I see that's really funny or something that I think, oh, wow, more people should know that, and even then it's not like it's going to get this crazy amount of traction.
I only use that part for like the story mode.
Yeah, I use stories. That's about it.
Yeah, stories and reels.
And every once in a while, if I drop a remix or something, I'll post it, main thing. But no, it doesn't reach anybody because it's not the way it's set up.
It's set up not to reach anybody unless you pay for it.
It's not set up. Facts.
So like I said, we're working for social media.
You can improve everything. No, not you can't.
No, I think that's giving too much credence to the machine.
Yep.
Versus
it is.
It's like we're in the Matrix now.
Look, man.
So if you take the blue or the red pill, that determines what your experience is going to be on social media.
I'm just going to say something really quick. Like if you're struggling out there on social media, if you're struggling and you feel like your art's good, the algorithm is intentionally working against you. And
don't be discouraged.
Try not to be as discouraged as as it is, because it is literally working against you.
The algorithm is Mr. Smith as you navigate this matrix.
And you're not Neo. So
and don't pay. Look, you can't pay attention.
Y'all dropping bars.
You just like them steaks and them red women.
You can't pay attention to this person got so much more followers. They bought those. Look, I've seen this where if you start going through somebody's followers, it's a bunch of fake accounts. People's trying to sell Forex. And then people who are pretending to be Instagram. You're like, you don't. This is why nobody listens.
They don't matter anyways.
Yeah,
there it is.
This is you got 30,000 followers.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
If you had 1/10 of 1% of those people that would come to your event or listen to your music, you'd be fine. But since they're not real people, what does it matter?
Lone just said
it's like people who cheat at video games. What do you get out of that?
Lone just said it. They don't matter.
They don't matter. We have 15,000 followers on TikTok. Shouts to y'all. But like.
Yeah, we appreciate y'all now.
This probably isn't going to reach you. You know what I mean? Like, so.
All right, probably going to see, another advertisement for some sort of tea or some headphones from China.
And then those don't even be real because what I do, even on products that pop up in my timeline, I'll go through and look at the people that left a comment on said item. You click on it, it's always a private page.
Tells me everything.
Or it has 6 people, 6 posts. Like, this is all fake.
Yep.
Like somebody paid for you to review it in real time on the post because a casual follower is they got these many people commenting on it, but not clicking on the people, seeing if they're real people. Yeah,
you fall for the okie doke.
Yeah, the only thing I can really even count, it seems real.
Who falls for the okie doke and gets a virus?
Mine is being fixed. I fell for the okie doke. Look, let's go to number 11, y'all.
Number 11.
You're not too good for covers. I think that speaks to more covers. I think they're talking about bands that do cover records, like covering other records.
I kind of feel like I ain't mad at it. I love the bands here. We have some real talented bands in Indianapolis, Indiana. But I
love original music, man.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm going. They perform these covers so well that I feel like if they were to write some music and capitalize on the followers that they have to come watch them do these covers, it would actually benefit them.
I'm not going to cap. A good cover I
don't care about.
It's good with me. Well, that's cool.
No, I like it. I enjoy it.
A good cover is good with me, but I agree with Terry because that only makes me think, man, imagine if y'all had half of y'all show or first of your show as covers situation versus original material.
Imagine me going out and rapping a Tupac song. Like,
it's not... That's not a good cover.
There's no reason for any rapper to be covering rap songs.
That's not a good cover.
I'm just saying, but in general, like, you can look at this as in far. Let me take it a different step real quick because this has been a very good but long conversation. But like, remixes are good for artists. Remixes are good if you're a producer because it allows you to utilize their name in the algorithm. You can kind of cheat the algorithm a little bit. Do remixes if you're good enough to do that. You have to do things like this. If you want to do a cover, maybe it's good just for that sake. Yeah. But you have to be able to grab those people that like that and be able to bring them into your 100%. Fold. And if you don't do that, then it's just like everything else. Yeah. So it's all about the exexecution.
Snoop actually did that on Doggy Style. He covered Lottie Dottie.
Yeah, I remember that.
But it sounded different and he changed some of the words.
Yep.
It definitely worked.
But that's not what he led with. That was an album cut. That was an album cut that worked and made sense. So it was kind of just like a lob to I rock with Slick Rick,
Yeah,
and I want to give him this homage.
Yeah.
Well, that list was dope, man. I like that you shared that, Lone. It was.
Well, this was okay. It wasn't.
I'm talking about the conversation. I ain't talking about
conversation wise.
the conversation was dope, more dope.
As far as being able to just say this is fact, nah, I'm cool.
Yeah,
because the way it started out was just wrong.
Yeah.